person in your life. Some are friends, some are enemies, but none are neutral. All of them can be used to your advantage, if you know the game. This is Machiavelli's world, a world where power decides everything. He was a master strategist, a grandmaster, who stayed 10 moves ahead while everyone else stumbled forward, blinded by their own ambitions. Did you know Machiavelli believed kindness makes you weak? He chose control over kindness, fear over love. Because he knew, the moment you let someone see your weakness, you lose your grip on power. This video is not about turning you into a monster. It's about turning you into someone who's not a victim, someone who controls their own fate. Today, I'm going to reveal Machiavelli's greatest strategies, the moves he used to conquer, destroy, or conquer without ever lifting a finger. So grab a seat, clear your mind, and prepare yourself. This is your first step toward becoming the grandmaster of your own game, a game where you're not a piece, but the player. A man who lived in a world filled with chaos, wars, backstabbing, and power struggles at every corner. That man was Niccolò Machiavelli, 1469 to 1527, the master strategist who saw through the mess and turned chaos into opportunity. He was a diplomat, a writer, and a political genius. He didn't care much for kindness or fairness. Machiavelli believed power belonged to those who were clever enough to grab it and keep it. While the rest of the world was busy following their hearts, Machiavelli used his mind. He studied people, their ambitions, their weaknesses, and then turned those weaknesses into his greatest weapons. He wrote The Prince, a book that shows you how power really works. Some say Machiavelli was a monster, manipulative, cold, even sinister. But in reality, he was a realistic strategist in a world that rewarded the strong. He saw human nature for what it truly is, flawed, vulnerable, and eager for guidance or control. He believed that in a game of power, you must be willing to do whatever it takes to come out on top. This is the genius we're going to learn from today, because understanding Machiavelli isn't about turning into a monster. It's about turning from a victim into a master of your own fate. Picture power as a game of chess. Every person in your life is a piece, a pawn, a knight, a rook, each with its own role, its own moves, its own weaknesses. Machiavelli saw the world this way. He didn't wait for things to happen. He made them happen. He studied the board, predicted his opponent's moves, and stayed 2 or even 10 steps ahead. He knew when to attack and when to wait. He knew when to make a bold move, or when a small, careful maneuver would pay off big. This is the key to turning the game in your favor. Instead of reacting, you become a master strategist, someone who controls the flow of power instead of letting it control you. Your friends, colleagues, rivals, they're all just pieces on your board. Some can be used to aid you, while others can be eliminated or manipulated. The trick is choosing which is which. Picture a grandmaster slowly cornering their opponent's king, closing off their escape, forcing them into checkmate. This is Machiavelli's way, systematic, patient, decisive. He didn't care about fairness. He cared about results. He cared about securing power, growing influence, and staying a step ahead. This is a game you're already a part of, whether you realize it or not. The only question is, do you want to remain a pawn or become a king? To think like Machiavelli, you need to detach yourself from emotions and see the world for what it really is, a battle for power. He believed those who let their hearts guide them lose. Instead, you must learn to be cold, calculating, and realistic. Analyze every move. Consider every outcome. Anticipate your opponent's response. This kind of thinking lets you control the game instead of letting it control you. When you know their weaknesses, their ambitions, their desires, you can use them to your advantage. Turn their ambitions into their downfall. Create chaos for them while you consolidate your own power. This isn't about kindness or fairness. Machiavelli knew these were weaknesses. This is about understanding human nature, the way people respond to incentives, pressure, and temptation. He mastered the art of turning opportunity into power. He used uncertainty and conflict to grow while his enemies fell. He stayed calm when others grew nervous, a wolf among sheep. So if you want to conquer your future, learn to think without sentiment. Analyze, calculate, and prepare. This is Machiavelli's way. This is the path toward true control. Machiavelli knew loyalty was a game you can win by turning loyalty into a powerful tool instead of a weakness. He said loyalty sticks until a better opportunity shows up. This means you should never rely on loyalty alone. Instead, you should make yourself too valuable to be abandoned. Picture a king rewarding his soldiers. He guarantees their loyalty by tying their futures to his own. He shares power, gold, or prestige, whatever they care most about, in exchange for their loyalty. This way, their fate is directly connected to his. This tactic lets you control their choices, their ambitions, and their loyalty itself. Instead of trusting, Machiavelli manipulated incentives. He turned loyalty into a form of leverage, a way to keep people bound to him. He was a master at choosing the right people and placing them in positions where their own survival depends on his continued power. He kept his friends close and his enemies even closer. He made sure there was always something to lose if someone chose to break loyalty. This is a crucial tactic for navigating power struggles today. If you want loyalty, make loyalty pay. Create a situation where turning against you means choosing chaos, downfall, or weakness. When you do this, loyalty evolves from a feeling into a powerful form of control. This is Machiavelli's way, securing loyalty by tying incentives to loyalty itself. Machiavelli boldly said, "It's better to be feared than to be loved, if you cannot be both." He knew people are self-interested and unreliable. When you're kind or generous, loyalty sticks until someone offers them something better. But when you're feared, there's a powerful barrier that prevents betrayal. This kind of fear isn't wild rage. It's a careful form of control. It means others think twice before turning against you, because the cost might be greater than the reward. Picture a ruler who shows kindness but lets weakness seep through. He's vulnerable, a sitting target for ambitious enemies. Meanwhile, a ruler who maintains discipline, who enforces punishment and justice, secures his own safety. He controls the game by instilling a healthy amount of awe and uncertainty in those around him. Machiavelli recognized this hard truth about human nature. Self-preservation guides people's choices. If crossing you brings danger or downfall, loyalty naturally follows. This tactic doesn't require needless aggression or tyranny, just a clear understanding that there are consequences for disloyalty or betrayal. This is Machiavelli's way, ruling through power, not wishful thinking. Machiavelli mastered the art of staying a step ahead by making sure his motives were a mystery. He knew the moment you become predictable, you lose power. When your enemies can see your moves in advance, they can prepare, undermine, or destroy you. Picture a master poker player. He doesn't show his cards. He bluffs. He feints. He lets his opponents guess and doubt their own judgments. This kind of uncertainty lets him control the game. This tactic applies to power, relationships, and conflict today. If you keep people guessing, wondering what you're thinking or what your plans might be, you become a wild card. This forces your enemies to make mistakes while you stay safely above the fray. Machiavelli wrote, "All the world is a stage, and you must be its greatest actor." He meant we must learn to perform, to mask our true ambitions, and to reveal just enough to keep everyone guessing. This is Machiavelli's way, staying elusive, adaptable, and a step ahead in the game of power. Machiavelli saw loyalty for what it truly is, a deal, not a bond of friendship. He wrote, "People are loyal to what serves them." This means loyalty sticks only as long as there's something in it for both sides. Picture two business partners. One brings profits. The other brings influence. The moment the profits dry up or the influence fades, loyalty is gone. This is not a tragedy. This is a fact of power. The most powerful players always account for this. They make sure their loyalty is worth something, whether through rewards, incentives, or a carefully cultivated dependency. This lets you control loyalty instead of begging for it. Instead of wondering if someone will remain true, you create a framework where turning against you would be their greatest loss. This tactic lets you consolidate power, make bold moves, and manage relationships without naivety or weakness. This is Machiavelli's way, securing loyalty by understanding incentives. Machiavelli knew chaos is not something to fear, but something to exploit. He wrote, "Never let a crisis go to waste. When everything is falling apart, that's your chance to rise." Picture a battlefield in chaos. Soldiers running, formations breaking, while a master strategist stands calm, choosing his moment to strike. This is when power is up for grabs. This is when a new leader emerges. Instead of resisting chaos, Machiavelli turned it into opportunity. He used confusion to consolidate power, make decisive moves, and destroy his enemies while they were weak or distracted. This tactic applies today. Whether you're navigating office politics, a tough business deal, or a dramatic conflict in your own relationships. When chaos reigns, people lose their grip and routines break down. This lets you reset the board and come out on top. Don't be afraid of chaos. Use it to become the strongest person in the room. This is Machiavelli's way, turning chaos into power. Machiavelli's greatest message is this: you are not a victim. You are the master of your own fate. He wrote, "It's better to be feared than loved, but safest to be both." This means you control how people see you, and in turn, you control your future. Picture a king sitting high on his throne. He's not begging for loyalty, he's commanding it. He's not at the mercy of fate, he's shaping it with every decision. That's the power Machiavelli offers you. Instead of reacting, you become the one who sets the game's rules. Instead of letting life push you around, you take a firm grip on your future. This doesn't mean losing kindness or compassion, but adding a layer of realistic power. It means honoring your softness by protecting it with a wall of steel. This way, you can pursue your goals without being destroyed by chaos, weakness, or betrayal. This is Machiavelli's path, turning yourself from a piece on the board into the master of the game.